Hey everyone, and welcome to the Biohacking for Women webinar. We are super excited that you are here today with us, and we can't wait to dig into these topics with you. So we would like to start by introducing ourselves. And Sandra, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hello. Also from me, I'm so happy that there's so many people already joining. If I'm correct, there's over 80 people now.
120 now, so super.
Awesome. Very, very grateful you're all there. Yes, my name is Sandra Porthan. I'm a medical doctor and a clinical nutritionist. And like Inka, I'm also a yoga teacher. So we share some mutual passions. And I think we will dive more into our interests and topics when we talk more, but yeah, that's my background and education.
And from me, hello to all and welcome to this webinar, and we are super grateful that you're here. My name is Inka. I am a bachelor in psychology. I'm currently doing my master's in neuropsychology, and I'm very interested in brain, nervous system balance, optimizing emotional health and psychological health. And I'm also a yoga and meditation teacher, and I'm also doing my specialization in positive psychology, diving into those topics as well. So we definitely share some interests here, and of course we share our mutual love to biohacking, which is optimizing your well-being with nature, technology, and biology. So all of your essence of being, basically. And first, we would like to start by...
Your earring is doing a little bit of...
Okay. Apparently, this is doing noise, so I'm just gonna, take it off because I don't really need it. So, okay, I hope we can now hear me better. And all good? Perfect. So we would, of course, love to know a little bit about you as well. So please leave us some comments to the chat on YouTube on where you are joining us today and what's your favorite biohacks. And if you have any specific questions, now we can see the chat as well.
Yep.
I am a male. Am I allowed to watch anyway? Of course.
Males are welcome as well.
And this might be quite insightful actually for males as well, to learn a little bit more about women health and women biology and biohacking for women. So firstly, we would like to talk a little bit about biohacking and why biohacking for women. So basically, here a slideshow mood. So basically, what is biohacking? Biohacking takes into consideration us as biopsychosocial beings, and of course appreciating that we are all the time affected by our environment as well. The lights we are exposed to, the smells, the sounds, the nature. And instead of observing, I would say, human body through one single domain, we think all of these domains and how do they affect to our body, our nervous system, and also our behavior, and how that loop affects to how we interact with our environment and what kind of feedback loops we are creating in our lives. And by trying to tackle into one area of life, for example, sleep, we could start observing different patterns that affect our sleep, measure that, and then optimize it.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add for this?
No, that was pretty good recap, how to approach biohacking.
Yeah. So we talked about the way that the aspect of biohacking, that we can start looking into different areas of our lives and see if we are satisfied our health in that area of life. For example, sleep is quite a big thing for all of us, obviously. We sleep the third of our lives, and it's very important to get the sleep right. So then we can start measuring, am I happy with my sleep? Am I sleeping enough? Am I getting all the good sleep stages that I'm supposed to get?
Yeah. Am I feeling refreshed when I wake up? Is my sleep quality actually good? Because we might sleep a lot and still not sleep well.
Yes, for sure. And then within that specific area of life, we can then think ways of how to improve this, how to get better. For example, if we are not satisfied our sleep, then we're trying to hack the sleep. And so biohacking is basically all about you being the subject, you being the experiencer of, am I feeling good about this area of life? You being the test subject. So I am doing this intervention, let's say I'm changing my evening habits and see what happens to me. And you being the scientist, so you can do things at your home. Think about what would I like to try for my sleep? Where do I think the problem is? And you being the test group as well. Yeah. What if I didn't do this?
Yeah.
What would happen?
And what I really love is the fact that you become more empowered. You have the power actually to affect your, like, all the areas of your life and your health. And instead of just being, for example, going to the doctor and asking a doctor for help, you actually get the knowledge yourself and you learn from your own body and become, I think more empowered in that way.
Yeah, it's definitely increasing the self-awareness, and it can also increase the sense of control. Yeah. Obviously, we are not saying that, if you have a health problem, the first thing to do is obviously consult a physician and see doctors, but also not put all the responsibilities to them, but think about what can I do proactively also in cooperation with my doctor or in my home, just for myself, to increase this self-awareness and self-knowledge. Yeah. And we have different ways of doing that as well, like increasing the self-knowledge and awareness. Yeah. So maybe you can give examples of some of the things that we can use to increase the self-knowledge.
Yeah, what I feel like that we brought into this course was this more intuitive way of also approaching health and wellness, that you can actually turn to yourself. And many ways, of course, are you can go to nature, you can meditate, you can just basically start slowing down. And this can happen in all areas. Like, Inka was talking about sleep, but also with nutrition. You can learn how to like work with the nutrition in more intuitive way. Instead of taking some diet and just following the plan and eating exact amounts and macros, you can actually learn to listen. What does this food make me feel? How does this work for me? Because we are all individuals, and even though there are many similarities, and we can make these kind of courses that actually do apply to most of us, still there is this like slight personal approach that everyone really can learn to know what is good for their bodies.
Yes, for sure. And this is actually the way, because we have basically two ways of which we can go. We can take apps and technology and tests and everything that's also part of biohacking. You can use, for example, Oura Ring to measure your sleep. Or you can take microbiome tests at home or go to doctors and take vitamin tests. But then we have this amazing self-awareness, self-intuition, just like the feeling of what's going on here. And body-mind practices are an excellent tool for that one. And indeed, like in psychology, we are now, for example, there are these so-called third wave therapies, which emphasizes this present moment awareness, self-awareness, and also just taking an observer role when you are listening what's going on in your body. And not everyone feels so comfortable with different technological gadgets. And we do have also a phenomenon called techno stress, which can increase, if the measuring gets too excessive, then it can actually increase stress. So it's good sometimes to take the step back and see and experience how does the body feel.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to ask you, Sandra, what was your biohacking journey? How did you become a biohacker?
Yeah. I think I became a biohacker before it was like a thing. Because due to my own health issues and my own background, which included many very uncomfortable gut issues and migraines and basically, I think I not only had like a gut issue, but it affected the hormonal part, and then it also affected my brains, which you know a lot about. So that.
And I also shared the same experience from gut issues to like brain fog and migraines. Yes.
Yeah. So that kind of led to the, like, I of course went to the doctors. I of course asked questions, and I tried to like find some answers, but I really couldn't find any good answers. And then it was like a really happy like a, what is sattuma? Like
coincidence.
Kind of like a coincidence. But anyways, I just happened to try yoga and just discover that this actually affects my health. This actually affects immediately how I feel.
Yeah. And I actually remember a phone call when one of our first phone calls together, when we were sharing this experience of migraine and gut issues and about the yoga session. And I was like, that happened to me as well. Like I tried yoga, mind-body practices. Yeah. And it just sort of I just felt better. And that rarely happened to me with medications, for example, painkillers. It just didn't work as well, as efficiently.
Yeah, so then you became like, well, at least I got the knowledge that I can actually do something in order to feel better. And it wasn't a term, it wasn't a thing like this is like at the moment, biohacking is more of a trend now, but that's where it started. And of course, now it's become more of a lifestyle and a huge interest and I feel like very empowered way of living.
Yes, totally.
And but that was the beginning,
Yeah, and I feel many biohackers share this story of having had a health struggle of their own that's been like even to the level that it's desperate, feeling like I don't know what to do. At least I was there. I was giving up all of the hope. I was like, I will be sick forever and I will suffer forever.
Yep.
And biohacking, the holistic way of thinking about being and tracking and optimizing, just like turned it all upside down and brought so much joy and control and empowerment, as you said, to the life. It's easier to, I don't know, be optimistic and flourish when you have these tools that you can use at home every day. Yeah. And we're not like targeting one single or marketing one single tool. It's really all about lifestyle, and it's quite simple things like sleep and nutrition, hormonal balance for women, of course. Women naturally make such great biohackers because women are very intuitive, they are very feeling, they are very attuned to their emotions. And actually women are women suffer more, for example, from anxiety, but it also relates to the fact that women are actually internalizing more. So they are really inside their head and bodies, which when you know how to use this intuitive tool, it can be a great strength for you and a great tool for you. We actually got a question from Lisa, and she asks, what type of trackers do you use? What data are you collecting? So Lisa, thank you so much for the question. And this is, I guess this is very individual, and it depends on what do you want to collect. So for example, first, myself, I started using just diaries because I have background of chronic migraine. So I've really had to know when did I have the migraines, how long did they last, what did I do. So it was all about diaries. Actually, at that point, we didn't really have smartphones. I started when I was really young to do the diaries. And now I use a tracker called Migraine Buddy. So that's what I'm tracking. I'm also tracking my sleep and my blood tests values. I have done hormone tests because I have had a lot of hormonal issues, as many
Like
women
many.
nowadays do.
Yeah.
We've all been there. So it really depends on what do you want to measure.
Yeah, and it can also, I feel like it can also work as a tool. Like, it doesn't have to be a lifetime thing. Like, I feel like, at least for me, using period trackers, for example, it was a phase when I was learning my own cycle that I was using the tracker. But then I kind of got in tune with it, and I don't need to use that tool anymore. But with that tool, I learned to listen to my body. So, I mean, sometimes these tools are super good, but they are not forever.
Yeah. And that's also a very typical thing in biohacking, that you start measuring something. Also, like, I actually don't use Migraine Body all the time anymore. Only when I'm interested, like, oh, I feel like it's coming, or like there are more migraines, what's happening? So I track more.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what's happening. All right, I know what to do.
Yeah.
And then I can like stop using the tracker. So it's very cyclical. And also, like, actually sleep has been something that I'm tracking just constantly. I find it so important, and it gives me so much insight. And that's actually a topic that we are also, it's 1 week topic in the Biohacking For Women online course. And we could like take an example of how to biohack sleep and what is like, why we talk about sleep so much.
Yeah.
So first of all, sleep health is, for me, I would say it's the number 1 biohack.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it is a thing that comes like with patients. You see it all the time. Like, I think everyone at least once in their life experiences some kind of difficulties in their sleep.
Yeah, for sure. And it's very crucial for women. Sleep is very important for nervous system recovery, especially the REM stage. And women are known to have a bit more stress, a bit more anxiety. So if we don't get our sleep, our nervous system just stays too active. It can increase negativity bias, for example, just one night sleep deprivation. You feel more negative, and all of this is just creating vicious cycles. And today's sleep reality is that actually today we sleep 1 hour less than 50 years ago on average.
That's crazy.
That's a lot, considering that there has not been any change to the sleep need.
Yeah, this is not due to doing more yoga and having a better nutrition, for sure.
Yeah.
This is just due to probably technology being one of the reasons, and
Hectic work culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to be learning all the time, trying to catch up the technology. The world is globalizing. We have more to do. And so at this time, I feel like it's also about the decision to take the time for sleep.
Yeah.
And I understand well that it might be very difficult sometimes to just slow down in the evening and even relax to sleep, because I myself had a time where I had very bad sleep problems for at least like a year.
Yep.
And that was all because of stress in the evening. So I didn't do anything in the evening to prepare for sleep, or I didn't do anything during the day to prepare for sleep, because it really starts in the morning.
That is so true. Yeah.
So we actually have one slide here that shows the 5 pillars of healthy sleep. So this is what we aim when we are aiming for good sleep and healthy sleep. So basically to fall asleep in reasonable amount of time, not too fast, not too slowly, but there would be regular bedtimes, and this is determined by our biological preference. We all actually have a different circadian rhythm. Then we have consistency, that we have no interruptions in the sleep, that we wouldn't wake up to the toilet, for example, so we didn't drink too much in the evening. We have the sleep quality, so we get all enough REM, deep and light sleep, and then that we would get the 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That seems to be the most optimal one.
Yeah.
So all of these things you can actually measure with trackers or with diaries, with how you feel in the morning. I like to combine all. I don't solely depend on one tracker. For example, the app that tells me like, hey, you slept this and this amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
I like also to do reflection. Do I feel refreshed?
Yeah.
How did I feel during the night, basically?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sleep optimization is it's a whole day process. How do you, Sandra, optimize your sleep?
For me, light is really important. And even though we live in this very dark country at the moment, I do try to get outside during the morning time. Even though it's just a little light that we can get, I feel like that really helps me to keep this circadian rhythm going.
Yeah, that really tells your pineal gland that, hey, it's morning time.
Yeah.
It's time to start the natural hormonal cycle, which actually affects on your evening melatonin levels.
Yeah.
So like the later you get the sunlight, the later your brain will start signaling that, hey, it's time to go to bed.
Yeah. And also exercise. I try to move my body, and I love to move my body every single day. So I try to do it before noon, or even sometimes before 3 in the evening. I feel like that is the optimal time for me. If I exercise too late, I feel hyper. I get super much energy, and then it's hard for me to fall asleep. And eating is also something that I do find that affects my sleep. If I eat late at night, I am not going to sleep in 2 or 3 hours. I'm going to be up and running, and I have so much energy. So it's smarter for me to just like skip eating in the evenings and just chill and try to cool down from the day.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, exercise, I find that as well. Like I need to move my body. I need to exercise. Otherwise, I don't like get really relaxed in the evening. And exercise is every time we consume energy, we are building up adenosine. True. which is the hormone that in the evening it tells our body that, hey, you should become a little bit sleepy.
Yeah.
And for example, caffeine is a natural adenosine receptor blocker.
Yep.
And many times when we drink coffee at afternoon or even towards the evening, the adenosine receptors are just not like we are not getting that adenosine signaling, which makes us less likely to be able to relax. And that might, when we feel that we're energized, we feel like, oh, I'm just going to work a little bit longer, and that's going to definitely disrupt our circadian rhythm. And one thing that I would actually like to point out with optimizing sleep is one thing that was at least very important for me was to learn my biological rhythm, because we all have different types of rhythms, and that's basically regulated by so-called clock genes. So you might be like, you shouldn't force yourself either to go to bed very early if your circadian rhythm is a later. There are like a fraction of people, like 10% of people who are like, whose biological preference is to go to sleep around midnight and wake up at 10 a.m. or something.
Night owls.
Yeah, night owls, exactly. So, but I'm definitely a morning person. I have a very book type, 10 to 6
Mm-hmm.
rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
What about yours?
Yeah, I love mornings and I love waking up in like super early, and that's natural for me. And sometimes it can be even annoying because it would be lovely to sleep in if you have been staying up late. But that's some kind of
That's how your body's
yeah,
body's rolling.
exactly.
Cool. So when we for women sleep, there are differences in sleep health between men and women. And I just hate to say it, it's this stat because I think it's so sad, but women have 40% more insomnia than men.
Yeah.
Like they are more likely to get that insomnia. And in case of sleep restriction, it seems like these inflammatory cytokines is more elevated in women than in men, and that is especially in women linked to heart disease. So sleep for women, for men as well, of course, but like these stats just show how important sleep is for women. And we do get, we have data on what are the most typical times why women are suffering from sleep issues. Like there are a variety of sleep reasons, of course, but one thing, biological thing, relates to our cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 3 typical times when women report pain and pain-related insomnia. And I know about this because I actually experience this. So, I mean, I have this experience.
Yeah.
So for me, when I have some PMS, for example, I'm just a little bit more agitated, a little bit more tense. I tend to get sleep issues. And by tracking my cycle, I use app called Flow. And with that app, I know when my period is approaching. And I can already prepare for like 5 days before I start to get this PMS insomnia.
Yeah.
I can already prepare that, okay, within those days, I might need to rest more.
Yeah.
And with just listening to my body, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But at least to know that there is something systematic and, that you can just tell that, okay, this is totally natural that I'm having the sleep issues. And it seems like I'm going to have my period soon. So this is probably related to my PMS. That gives me sort of sense of peace that already relieves my sleep issues.
Yeah.
And then, of course, for sleep, we have here, it can be pain or distress or elevated body temperature during ovulation. So we can use these different targeted hacks. For example, distress and tension might be quite common. So we can use calming herbs, mindfulness meditation, positive psychology practices, going to nature, as we're talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do to relax in the evening?
Oh my goodness, this is a good question for a person who hasn't had any time to relax in the evening due to a hectic lifestyle. But when it's not this hectic, I do like to chill with the music or book or something that doesn't include technology. For some reason, technology is a bit stressful for me.
Yeah.
And just putting the phone down, putting it to another room or leaving it away is enough for me to feel a bit more calm. Also socializing, doing fun things, seeing my friends, doing something that gets my mind off this. I guess you know this type A personality thing because you study these things, but I feel like that's going on with me often. Like my brain is just running.
Just internal speech, the rumination, what should I do tomorrow? What did I forget to do today?
And of course, like sauna is amazing.
Sauna is amazing. I love sauna. Well, this comes from 2 Finns, so it's very integral for our culture as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but very good tips. And I would like to emphasize also the fact that even if you have a hectic lifestyle, let's say you need to be at the computer in the evening, there are still things that you can do to, ease that. One thing that has been very crucial for me, I wear this every single night, is the blue light blocking glasses. So something that you can prevent the bright light, which is stimulating for your brain. It tells your pineal gland that, hey, it's a day. But because we don't really get this in our environments in the evening. But our technological devices, your phone, your pad, your laptop, they are all emitting this. Even indoor lighting can be such that you get the bright light. So just using these blue blockers, I like to keep a salt lamp on.
Oh, that's lovely, yeah.
That's one of my favorite things. Then you can install smart lighting to your home as well. And I like to use background music, like relaxing when I'm working as well in the evening.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
So, okay, one big issue or one big topic in our lives is, of course, the hormonal balance and hormonal health. So let's talk about that one.
That is, gut issues and hormonal things are my two passions. So we can go to, was there any question about hormonal balance?
So we had question from Instagram about perimenopause and how to prepare for menopause and what are premenopause symptoms. And then we had, maybe this is related, but there is, Marcella is saying that they are at their 28 year and it's hard to lose weight. So maybe this can be also related to hormones.
Can be related. Of course, we don't know any of their backgrounds, like what is their health or condition. But hormonal issues do come up whenever we are talking about female health. It's such a huge part of our lives. Our hormones are changing throughout our whole life. And
what are the most important phases or times at the women's life when our hormonal balance is sort of like shifting into different phases?
Yeah, of course, like beginning of our cycle is one of the big ones, and we get like our periods. That's a big shift, and then we have our fertile years, which can be pretty stable, or then we can have like lots of pregnancies and children and other lifestyle stressors that do switch and change our hormones completely. And then during the menopause, first perimenopause, when we're kind of like losing the cycle, and then finally in menopause, the cycle ends. Those are all big changes, and these all changes actually make us more prone to other health issues. Even autoimmunity has been linked that we...
Oh, really?
We can be like more prone during these times. Like, for example, pregnancy. During pregnancy can be a trigger into autoimmunity. So this is very important to understand your hormones and kind of try to live in sync with your hormones and also know the ways to balance them, because even though this, I don't know if you can see the chart, this can look very complicated. It is not that difficult when you actually start looking at it. So this is the monthly cycle that all fertile women experience. It is usually divided into 3 phases, at least in medicine, which is the follicular phase, ovulation, and then the luteal phase. And actually in this chart we have the periods in the end, but usually the follicular phase starts with the periods. So this kind of is a different chart. But anyways, so I don't know if you want to go into this whole cycle. How does this work?
Well, we will review this at the course as well.
Yeah. But
so we can go that there, and then we have a couple of other questions actually.
Yeah, I was thinking about the question from Marcella, was it?
Yeah.
Saying that she was wondering whether her weight gain could be somehow related to hormonal issues. And in the age of 28, they're
48.
48,
Yep.
okay. Well, yeah, definitely. Then it can be also, well, both ages, yeah, you can find different reasons also. But yeah, we do not know whether she's now perimenopausal or if she already had her menopause. But very likely that she's somewhere in that phase. So something is happening, something is triggering her hormones, and maybe the cycle is ending, which is definitely affecting the weight as well. So, yeah.
One thing actually, a question related to weight that was very interesting, I think came from Myla. And she asked about, I do intermittent fasting, which is of course very typical in the biohacking world, almost every day for about 14 to 15 hours. Should a woman take something special into account when fasting? How long fasting time would be good?
Of course, this is very individual. Like, there are some women who do really well with intermittent fasting, but they are rare. Let's put it this way. It can be, men usually go better with intermittent fasting. And that may be due to the bigger amount of muscle mass or just the hormonal stability. But since women do have these cycles and a bit of more complicated system, I rarely recommend a woman to start doing a very long intermittent fasting. Of course, I think all people, we do benefit from having a 12-hour fast, so our bowels can kind of rest. Okay, we
get a sign that we need to move a little bit.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, so of course we need to have some breaks with our eating, since this is really crucial for our bodies to recover and
detox and
and
repair the gut lining, probably.
Yeah, all that. But intermittent fasting should be something that, if you have any hormonal issues, then I would definitely not recommend. And then test and try, how do you go, and maybe not be too strict about it.
Yeah. Also, so obviously now recently there has been quite a lot of studies about the intermittent fasting. I think recently there has been emerging the studies also that look at the sex differences, and they are not really concise, the results. They are mixed. It depends on the cycle that you are in. It probably depends a lot of your initial stress levels, for example, because intermittent fasting is a hormetic stressor to the body.
It is, yeah.
If you have a very baseline, at least this is what I notice for myself.
Yeah.
If I'm very stressed to begin with, I don't do that well with fasting. Or if I do a lot of exercise, if I get a lot of stressors from already, sort of from different sources, I always need to be very careful of how many different stressors do I want to stack, And sometimes I do feel like my body tells me that, okay, just fast. Now it's it's good. You're good to go. You can fast. You don't need that food,
Yeah.
And I think this is also something that we need to take quite intuitively.
Yeah, and also you can learn with your cycle to work with the cycle, that often in the end of your cycle, it might be smarter to kind of eat more regularly, since you tend to crave more foods in that period. So you don't want to skip meals, because that might just end up in either eating too much or not feeling energized.
Yeah, and also during period, there are certain nutrient deficiencies, like iron levels might fall. Yeah. What else would you think that it would be useful to monitor during period?
Well, you mean blood work during period?
Yeah,
not
or
test-
vitamins, minerals, what would be important to make sure that you get that from your nutrition?
I do not test like in a particular time of a cycle, like nutritional levels. But yeah, of course, for women, of course, iron is super important, but so is magnesium, is folate,
folic acid,
B12. In Finland also, we have pretty low minerals in our soil. So we do need to take those unless we're really good with our diets.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very, very good insights. Thank you. And thank you so much for the questions. Keep them coming. We really love seeing what are the things that you really want to know. And we're always happy to answer. And, you know, we can go into the questions that we don't have time to answer today, right now.
Yep.
We will definitely take those and, you know, discuss those at the course, which start next Monday. So, I mean, if you're interested and if you want to get all your questions answered, then go into www.biohackingwomen.com, and there is a course platform as well for you, in which me and Sandra, we are going to be there, and we can all share, you know, we too, but also we all just together, you know, as a group of like-minded women, we can share our insights. Okay, let's talk about a brief moment about mental health, because that's obviously one thing where we find a lot of sex differences. We find that women are twice as likely to suffer from anxiety, sometimes depression, you know, OCD, and just be more stressed. So this is also super important for our hormones as well. So mental health, it affects in so many things. So the reasons for, let's say, anxiety, there can be many different reasons. It can be nutrients, it can be genes, it can be personality, as we talked about that, like that really affects. And especially now during these times when we have the pandemic going around, it might be that we have more social isolation, which makes us feel like more lonely even. So what are your favorite tools for easing anxiety and distress?
Since I love working with the gut, I do often go there and see what's going on there, because I've found that, well, our gut makes lots of our serotonin, and there is this very crucial connection between brain and the gut. So I feel like making sure our gut is functioning well and the communication between our gut and brain is good is the place to start. I feel like often people with anxiety do also have gut issues, that it goes really in hand. So I always start with the gut and work with that. And then
what would be some specific sort of tools that you could use to make sure that your gut is healthy? Like probiotics, prebiotics?
Yeah, I mean, in general, we would consider that probiotics and prebiotics are good, but since we do have these excellent tests that we can actually measure our microbiome, we can see whether we have their pathogens, whether we have bacterial overgrowth, whether we have viruses or even parasites. I do like to test that and also get some insight, like how is our digestion working? Like, do we have enough enzymes and do we actually break down the food particles properly? Is our gut lining in good order? And all this is really, really important. Is there inflammation? Inflammation is huge. If you have inflammation in your gut, you will probably have also some kind of mental thing going on.
Yeah, and gut is obviously connected to our brain via the vagus nerve.
True.
Yeah, so if the gut is imbalanced, this sort of signaling to brain can be disturbed. That can cause nervous system imbalances and malfunctioning. So that is definitely a key area from which you can modulate also your nervous system action.
Yep.
As I would say also one other part of the body that you can use is your lungs and your like breathing, which is I think it's so cool. I get very excited about breathing because it's so simple, but it's so effective. So just by exhaling a bit longer, just staying like taking mindful breaths and exhaling long, that felt so good.
That always feels so good, and still we forget.
Yeah, still we forget. So using breathing practices, and I find it quite useful to do those in the morning, so that when I have that stress during the day, I have that practice in the morning, so I remember.
Yeah.
Sometimes otherwise I forget, or I forget how to do it. So we are also we have also something about breathing practices and how to use activate the vagus nerve at the course.
Yeah.
To use this tool at your everyday lives to be able to ease stress and tension quite effectively. Of course, diet is also modulating the gut health and correcting the vitamin balances, and it's also participating as a precursor to neurotransmitters that are important for regulating mood and mental health, serotonin levels, everything. We have one picture of a recent article about so-called antidepressant foods that, you know, or these nutrients that have shown to be linked to better mood and better mental balance. And a lot of these things look like they look so delicious. First of all, from the pictures, I'm like getting hungry here. But I mean, you can take these vitamins, of course, from the bottle as well. But I mean, it's just so much more fun to eat. And also, it might be more bioavailable if you get this from the diet.
Yeah, definitely. And what you were saying about the fact that, of course, the source is really important, but also in which state you are eating.
Yeah.
Like, just the one simple breath can be really a lifesaver. Like, I have many clients that come to me that they experience a lot of bloating, a lot of reflux, a lot of symptoms, and then I just ask, like, in what kind of state are you eating? And if you're not eating in a relaxed state, you cannot expect your body to be able to absorb and take in the nutrients or even digest your food.
Yeah, and so many of us have to because of this rushed culture. We're like running from one place to another. I've experienced this so many times, and we just have to take something on the go, and it's almost like you need to eat standing up. So then just, you know, taking the time to sit down, breathe, not having any work things open, just like maybe have a nice company, you know, having a little laugh before you eat and just relaxing.
Yeah, and the breathing is a really good tip too. Just taking a couple of deep breaths and chewing is another thing that we should definitely do more.
Yeah, because that already it starts that digestive acid production and enzyme production.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, that's a good thing that you mentioned the breathing before for a meal, because that's also that's a moment when you can integrate a little bit of practices from positive psychology in your life, and that actually can also support your mood and relax and decrease your anxiety. So it would be having a little gratitude practice. So gratitude journaling is known to be good for balancing mood, writing down things that you feel very grateful for today. And you can do that just before the meal. I like to do that sometimes. I just look at the plate and I'm like, thank you for me being able to eat this nutritious food, and just appreciating that not everyone has the chance to have that, you know, fulfilling nutritious food every day. So it's certainly something that we can appreciate every day.
And that kind of allows us to get more connected, since most of us are not like farming and sourcing our own food. So that's one way to get a bit more connected with our nutrition and with our food.
Yeah, because it's
just-
going inside your body.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's becoming part of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a good way. Any other questions that we really would want to go through?
Let's see if we have more questions. Is ketosis and low carb diet okay for women body? We sort of looked at some nutritional factors. Ketosis is another thing that's shown to be a bit different for men and women, and I don't think there is a clear answer of if it's good or not. But I would not consider a long-term ketosis to be very healthy, at least according to the studies that
we have. Like these are, we may have some individuals that go really well, but in general, if ketosis works really well, maybe then do it cyclically.
Yeah.
Or find a way to try it and test it and see how you go.
Yeah.
And we do dive into it and how to do it properly. If you feel like that is working for you, it's helping you to get focused or helping you with your body weight. There is a way to make it safe, and we do go through that, but we do not like emphasize on that as a lifestyle.
Yes, and like one thing about ketosis is that it can decrease the body fat quite fastly as well, and going too low body fat is not necessarily good for women because we are not able to then produce all the essential female hormones that we need for fertility, for example. So there are risks, but there are also, I think, supplementing with exogenous ketones or C8 oil, there are no harms with that one. Actually, it does very good for the brain to get that caprylic acid. It seems to boost the brain growth and can boost energy in case you need like more extra boost for energy. But we go deeper into the course with the ketosis. And we were talking about the mental health. So we would show one graph for you, which has a couple of nice things that you can maybe take into your life if you feel like you need more de-stress or de-anxiety. Mindfulness, meditation, breathing, we talked about that one. Nature, gratitude. Three good things. That's an excellent one. So it's journaling in the evening of 3 good things that happened today.
Yeah.
It's also a part of gratitude. Loving kindness meditation, very famous. You can find good clips from YouTube. Sleep, we have discussed that a lot. And there are some like nutrients and then essential oils and tea that can relax you, your mind and body. But also these things are going to be covered at the course. So if you are interested in diving more deeper into how to do these things and how can they help you, then the course is going to provide you that information as well. Okay, so it starts to be time for last discussions. So we have been super grateful, and we are super grateful for you to be here right now. And we are so looking forward to seeing some of you at the course. And of course, we do have an active Instagram channel in which we share, maybe we can show it to the screen. So in which we share these biohacking tips on how to support different life areas. A lot of the material here comes from the course or is part of the course. So if you find these things like relevant and interesting, then I'm sure you will love the course as well. And we would like to show you also this giveaway that we have. So this piece of gold is Luonko's handmade cosmetics, which is facial or Luonko's face cleansing cake, which is contains antioxidants, superfood, vitamins, fatty acids, and just all the good things. And we are going to give away one of these. So you can find the instructions at our Instagram, and you will have time to answer for that one until Monday, when we also launch the Biohacking for Women course.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we would like to show you or guide you to the course. So biohackingwomen.com is the webpage. And here you can find the discounted price as well. So we have this discount until Monday.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good discount. It's 30% off, I would say.
Yeah.
That is. So from 147 to 97.
Yeah.
So now it's definitely time to join.
Yeah, we of course hope to see all of you there and be able to share this knowledge and these experiences also, because it's not all about just the science. It's also about sharing the community and finding like-minded people.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much fun, not only to, learn together, but then to share the real life experiences. We're all individuals. We all react differently to different health optimizing things, different biohacks. So we can share there. We can tell like, hi, I tried this one.
Yeah.
How did it work for you? Or
and learn together. I feel like we are probably learning also so much from all of you. So like this is going to be also very exciting for us, and we hope to serve you the best way possible.
Totally.
Because this is also so like as we both share this journey, it is so like wonderful to be able to give back. Because the whole biohacking has been lifesaver for us. So
yes.
So if we can offer any of our knowledge or experience, it is truly a gift.
It is, totally. And especially during these times when we have more restrictions to go out, and it's just so important to have that social support.
Yeah.
Social support actually after disease, that the studies show that it predicts health more than many like health habits or demographic variables.
Yeah.
So the social support itself is already something a biohack basically.
Yeah.
So we are very excited to start this.
Yeah, definitely.
And join at biohackingwomen.com, and we will open the course platform on Monday, and super excited. And I guess at this point we're gonna
have to let you go.
And we are gonna get you into your biohacks, and we're going to sleep soon. It's getting late here in Finland. So thank you so much once again for being here. It was truly a gift to be here with you, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the course.
Yeah, can't wait to see you.
Bye.
Bye.